Aqui é RMOffice 5521, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Today is day 7, Sunday 2021. It's very recommended, and I'm with a very limited access to the communication sector, only the mobile and with a specific provider. It's recommended to consider maybe have a petition as habeas data to protect the data that you need. As you know, the Conjuncture Brazil, the public record must be protected from distortions inside the public departments by public corruption, which indeed is proven as behavior, as wrongdoing, considering the Article 174 of our Constitution. And you have the right to claim from the international area the dismissing procedure or impose this by the Article 173, paragraph number 5 of our Constitution. If you, from the international area, considered, observed, proved and declared distortion as risk confirmed by evidences proven by integrated failure on Article 74 and 23, Item 1, as part of the international corruption segmented as and declared as public corruption in Brazil, you maybe will have the right to claim the compensation based on Article 37, paragraph number 6 against the specific variables that created this problem. We are inside the accusation, and this accusation is systematically presented and exposed from corruption, impacting the privacy of citizens doing research, impacting interest on it, the criminal association to block the research, sets the line and the guideline to understand the transnational organized crime as party. The behavior and impact of the transnational organized crime in regular areas can be something with a huge impact that sometimes will destroy the entire area or the entire business or the entire image of someone else, or something that will be made little by little. But in all cases, you need the distortion as image formed by the not proper registry that goes inside the public department or inside companies that has tolerance with criminal activity or risk models, and this they give the integration of failure by blind eye association, history and directory on FBI. We will check here this model, which we have a division of a conjuncture as government, corporative area and state. Corporative area acting by free will in general if has independence. The government with a period to lead the welfare state for the society based on the investment, the public investment system made by the taxation and tax payment of the citizen. If you do not give the payback as welfare state, you are all wrong. And you must have the transparency pointing and evidencing how you had the management of this public resource. The fraud management is a crime in Brazil considered white-collar crime. In general, goes as driver public departments, which has the access to the public budget and have the transference from public treasury. But in the Brazil, in the big crap that we are having to live right now, the state has the continuity, but the continuity of this state can be threatened and menaced by the government, especially with coalition with corporate area, which indeed will have in a very peculiar moment the associative trail as outlined, with the state forming the paramilitary activity, integrated and have the interaction in an institutional level, integrated failure, proved one more time now as warfare risk. The premise will be violated by the intention, which is estimative as argument after have the reading of regulatory points and issues like the Constitution and the law, not conformance by the outline since from the very first moment. Indeed, this model will give me little by little the structural design as something not regular, and you will need the conformance by activism in general using the judicial system. We will check that this model can be presented as something like this. We have fields of activity and action considering the corporative area and the public area. I would say two different fields, but in our case they are inside a square as Constitution. You consider have the integration by outline and surround the Constitution by criminal activity using global scheduled events or pandemic events. This one more time will give us the distortion presented as argument, as decision, as creation of law, as cases invented to put order down which has no elements to be sustained. And then we will check that we offer this model as the quadrant tracer. The quadrant tracer gives me the function that I have and the estimatives that I will have associated as the internal element of a variable. This model is presented here with a bit more complexity as the algebra vectorial model, and it's a element named ballistic. The ballistic is, something at the military area. We are inside the NATO. We can use this to track the field of distortion, considering the field variable pattern positive 1x estimative related with positive 1z, giving the proper function as positive 1, inner value positive 1. You have the opposite sense as variable, which is the criminal activity. The criminal activity in general will have a estimative as argument that can be -1, considering the agents inside the scheme as criminal scheme to understand things, and will give me the functionality 00 -1 as criminal functionality, which is the reversal behavior of my activity. I must request the prison of those variables to those variables often offer the systematical and sequential distribution of values, considering that model which indeed we had before, and it's here. I think I will check it's this model here, which the variable will give me from the field 00, which -1 can offer me the +1 inner value -1 and the 00 +1, because the infiltrated agent, as you can observe, have contact with everybody. And here we have the sense of punishment by a machine. +1 inner value -1 is always crime, no excuse to have the public corruption, especially integrated in the international scam, committing abuses of procedure to set the trust or have the continuity of variables inside the institution is the premise to have the institutional corruption. And then we will check the corruption. The violation of rights and guarantees indeed happens by abusive procedure, and the combination of both corruption, the angle stone of everything, the violation of things, and the combination of both having the most serious consequence. You will have the corruption and the abusive procedure by lines that do the procedures, but having the continuity of corruption inside the public department. You have this every time you do not have the legal accomplishment, like the Article 174 in Brazil, which is the integrated failure of the state, the violation against the protection of family by the state, the integrated failure on budget considering the public institution, the democratic institution, and the state institution, and all players at the public budget Brazil on 74/23/81. We will request by the financial and white-collar crime law the information and public departments in Brazil, considering the mandatory need as habeas data, because Brazil is not loyal and fake everything all the time. Then it will give me the A capital letter. Then we will have the A small letter, which is the requirement in each embassy in Brazil about the doing of their own public department, segmented by state as each one of those embassies to compare with the pattern presented as public department in Brazil, and this will be the comparative report presented since 2021 November 7 I think or 8 Sunday until 2028, preventive control to set the dissuasory policy against as antitrust and against the use of trust as formed from abusive procedure to obtain the illicit economical empowerment, even considering the tax stimulus as the micro redistribution of economical power, and avoid this oriented and guided to set the civil war as great civil war by the constant decreasement of access. Limited resource, you will probably have conflict and instability to achieve this as essential needs as health, energy, and labor, things like this, based on the hyperinflation, which is the economical index used for criminal purpose in global scale. You for sure are tracked one more time, and we are not observing and checking the prison against the top levels, considering the Supreme Courts, the government, and others, which indeed are not acting inside their own lines as jurisdiction, but acting in an integrated way for criminal purpose as international criminal system. This model is presented at the Risk Report 2021 Trace November.blogspot.com. Brazil committed industrial crime too. Have a nice week.